to another video with Ellen Seams. I'm late because I'm sick. I'm trying my best to get through this video, but thank you for watching. If you're new, or as a reminder, in these videos, they're really just kind of a way for me to keep track and have some accountability of the things that I'm knitting and sewing throughout the month. So in these videos, I just wrap up any finished projects that I had from last month, talk about what I am working on this month or plan to work on, and we just have a little chat. So let's get into it. First off, we'll talk about what I'm wearing. So this is the boxy cardigan. I forget who the pattern is by, even though I've talked about it for 3 videos now, so I will put the link in the description. I absolutely love this finished garment. It is like super dense and kind of feels like a towel, which maybe seems negative, but I feel like we all just, it's kind of a closet staple, like kind of a warm short sleeve shirt. I don't know. So even though it was like kind of a pain and took forever, really that was because I ran out of yarn halfway through, which like is probably my fault and not the pattern maker's fault. And I really plan on making another one because I wear this a lot. It's just so fun and I love it. So I would give this pattern 2 thumbs up. The next thing that we will be talking about is sweater number 21 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Woohoo! I was working on this last month, obviously. That's what I'm talking about. I talked about this in my last video. I had already started it, but this month I finished it up and I am so excited. This was like probably the pattern that got me really excited about knitting, and I was just a little afraid to start it, but it is so beginner friendly. It's definitely a great project for like your first step out of the stockinette stitch world. Would highly recommend it. I had made a My Favorite Things pattern once before and I was not very pleased with it, but it was like one of her first patterns that she ever made. So it's clear that she's come a long way in her pattern writing, and I think they are very accessible, or at least this pattern was. I really like this sweater. I thought that I could get by with it in the summer some because it is so like open, but it has mohair, which mohair in the summer is just kind of gross in my opinion. It's also just been insanely hot and muggy here, so I haven't had the chance to get to wear it, but I really do like working on my fall wardrobe towards the middle or end of summer. I just like that kind of flow of working like 3 months ahead. So I'm gonna wear this like every day in the winter. Could see myself styling it with a turtleneck, which is like a t-shirt underneath if there's kind of like a in between warm cool day. I could see it over a dress. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I've already like tried it on with white and black underneath. I prefer white underneath rather than black, but I tend to wear black a ton in the winter, so we'll just see. I'm pumped. I'm sure you'll be seeing this in later videos. The next thing that I finished is the vanilla sweater by Hip Knits. I think I talked about this in my last video too. And what I'll tell you is this is my first bottom-up sweater, and they suck. At first I thought it was really fun because you start on the widest part first and it only gets smaller from there, and for that, I love it. But if I would have made this top down, I would have known this is way shorter than I would like for it to be. So it's just a little bit more cropped than I would prefer. I was kind of hoping for this like oversized baggy look. It's not what I got. Just more cropped. That's my only complaint. I guess I have another complaint. I really loved Hip Knits patterns when I found them, and this pattern was kind of challenging to understand. I think it wasn't written very clearly. Maybe it's because it was my first bottom-up sweater, but I really think that the issues were probably beyond just it being my first time trying this. So that was pretty disappointing. I'm not sure if I would even like try another hip knits pattern, to be honest. But I probably will because their designs are so cute and I'll just like suffer through it or become better. Luckily, I did consult my husband on this. I'll actually link his YouTube in here because he has just like a good little channel. A lot of people, I say good little channel, a lot of people follow him. So cool person to check out if you're interested. But yeah, I had to consult him on one aspect of this pattern because I didn't understand. With the bottom up, you knit the bottom in a big tube. You split when it's time for the underarms. And this one, you knit the front first and the back second. And the front, I completely understood, but the back was really confusing to me. Just the way it was written. And then she said that you could Kitchener stitch or seam the shoulders together. I Kitchener stitched the shoulders together. And I mean, it is like totally seamless. I mean, if you've ever done a Kitchener stitch before, you know that it's a seamless seam. So would recommend that. I put this little tag in it. I just think it looks so cute. I've already worn this one, even though it's like huge and, well, I wish it was huge. Even though it's like a big chunky sweater, I've already worn it once, which is like way out of season because it's literally 90 degrees every day here, but it's just too cute. Too cute. So next I'm going to talk about my knitting project that I'm currently working on. This is a bit of an emergency knit. Now, what do I mean by that? That means I was on vacation for 2 weeks and I was afraid I was going to run out of projects, so I bought cheap yarn and I kind of regret it. This is Northern Augustins or Augustines, I don't know. I think it's number 1, but I will correct that number. And I love it. I have made some adaptations to this pattern because I just wasn't obsessed with the fit, but I was obsessed with this color work. This is my first time doing color work, and it was super easy. This was an amazing entryway pattern into color work because you don't have to catch any floats until you get like all the way down to here. So that was really nice because you can just like practice color work in this, and then it gets more complicated down here. So would highly recommend as your first color work project. It was supposed to be a turtleneck and I was not liking that look for this. I wanted something that I could wear. Like, I have most of my sweaters are turtlenecks, so I'm trying to not make any more turtlenecks for the time being and just like build up a rapport of just sweaters that hopefully can be worn throughout more seasons. Another thing that I thought was interesting is I'm currently on the ribbing right now, and that's the wrong side, but she wants the ribbing to be folded over. And I just feel like there's already, sorry, I have probably mohair in my eyelash. Really cool. I feel like the bottom of a sweater is already really bulky, and that's also like my widest part, and I don't really want that double folded. So once I'm like 99.9% sure I'm not gonna do that. Also, it's just more work for a sweater knit out of like crappy yarn that I'll probably remake anyway because this was more of a practice. I used acrylic yarn, which was, sorry, I didn't even finish my thought. So anyway, I'm already like 99% sure that I'm not gonna do the folded over rib, but I'm a little curious about it. Once I get to the full length, I'm gonna kind of use my imagination and see if that's something that I'm interested in, but currently using my imagination, not something that I'm interested in. I used acrylic yarn on this, and I'm really proud, honestly, of how this color work looks, but the thing is, like, the inconsistencies won't block out because acrylic yarn doesn't block. And it's already pilling, I haven't even worn it. So, I mean, overall, literally I spent $20 on this yarn, a steal, and it was a really good learning experience. I say that like it's done. It's not done. But probably something that I'll like quickly need to replace. But I really, really, really love this pattern. I'm not like a big Fair Isle person, but wow, like how cute is this? I'm a big red person. I'm a big bow person. So just obsessed. This is really similar to the colorway that she did in her sample. So really excited about that. This is about to come undone. So I do have yarn on the way for a project, but it is for a present. And I think what I'm going to do is just do like a big wrap of all of the presents that I made around December instead of talking about them, just in case I have anybody who gets their presents spoiled because they decided to watch this. So anyway, I do have yarn in the mail. I do have something else that I'll be working on. And I have yet to decide how I'm going to handle that, sharing that with you and just documenting it myself as well. But Ellen, just know there's one more thing to talk about, but you're not talking about it right now. So that's it for knitting. Now we will talk about sewing. And honestly, kind of grateful for being sick because I finished up this project while I was sick. And it probably would have been another month of me being like, hey, I really want to make this sheer overlay dress, but I'm never going to do it. Well, I finally finished it. It was a bit of a journey. Also, this fabric, I ordered curtains and they came in this exact fabric, which is hilarious. So basically, a dress made out of curtains wouldn't be the first time for me. So here's the sheer overlay dress. I'll put in a video. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's not perfect. This fabric is not easy to deal with, and I French seamed everything. My original dream and design was to have gathering, like a straight panel in the front and gathering around the sides. I tried to do that. It looked weird and bad. So after sewing it together, French seaming it, and then top stitching the French seam down, I unpicked all of the 4 seams, which was a journey. So that's also something that really made this last a lot longer than it needed to. But I really did like tell myself I wasn't going to make any compromises with this one, because with my sewing, I just tend to make a lot of compromises and then I'm like, this isn't quite perfect. So I'm trying to be more perfectionistic in my sewing. Still like a lot of imperfections. This fabric just like snags a lot, so there's already a run in it, which, yeah, there already is a run in it. It's really visible, which is a bummer. I'm gonna try to iron it out. It's like right on the front, but it's probably just gonna be the way it is. Probably something mostly only I see. But overall, can't wait to style this. I have a video of how I styled it for like the summer. I don't really know how comfortable I am in that bodysuit, so I've already worn this once with just like a white t-shirt underneath and jean shorts, which was a cute look. I really liked that. Styled it with that bodysuit that I actually still have on in the video. In the winter, I imagine I'll style it with like black leggings and a black turtleneck, so it kind of just looks like I'm wearing a bodysuit underneath it and like some chunky boots. Just a lot of possibilities. I also have a tank top and a skirt that I made out of the same exact fabric as this bodysuit that I'm wearing. I'm wearing a bodysuit. As this bodysuit that I'm wearing. So, I could even do that to make it just look like a dress underneath the dress. I'd probably wear that to church that way. Just so many possibilities. I feel like this is going to be kind of a staple for me. Would probably never sew again because it was a pain. I'm going to treat myself to sewing on like fabric that one is meant for apparel, because I sewed this out of a cotton, it's not even cotton, out of a sheer veil, aka curtain material. So the next thing that I'm gonna sew is just gonna be something easy, because this, I was doing French seams. You can't really iron this type of fabric. It doesn't really press very well. It was a journey, but I'm happy. I'm gonna wear it a lot. So, 4 sewing projects that I will be working on. A bit of an awkward situation with that too. So I just finished that dress. So excited. With my life right now, it's really busy, and my sewing space typically gets used more as like a work or school space right now, so I haven't been as interested in sewing, but like I feel like always at the turning of a season or the couple months before the turning of a season, I get really excited about sewing and adding some things to my wardrobe. So all that to say, I decided to cut into this fabric, but I had a ton left, so it almost looks like a bolt. This is fabric that my mom got for me for Christmas last year. It's 100% wool. And because I got it at Christmas, and with the way that I sew and knit, I'm already like thinking about spring and summer clothes. Still have mohair in my eye. Around Christmas time, I just knew like, I mean, 100% wool. She got me like 3 or 4 yards of it. Obviously not a cheap little project. So I wanted to really kind of like mill on what I wanted to make. But every time I go to Goodwill, I'm looking for like a good wool blazer that looks like this, and I just never find what I'm looking for. So I'm going to make a blazer out of this. I've already cut this fabric, but the blazer pattern that I am using, which is the Keaton blazer by Seamwork, I'm really excited because it has a lot of good details, but it's not overly detailed. And just in the pattern description, they say it's a good like entry point into a more intermediate pattern, which I've definitely sewn a lot of intermediate patterns before, but it's still like not the most fun thing for me. So this is one that like I think will be fun, but not crazy challenging. And it doesn't have welt pockets, which I just don't really like sewing pockets. I like having pockets, but I don't like sewing them. So anyway, that pattern calls for your main fabric, your lining fabric, woven interfacing, knit interfacing. I need to learn the difference between knit and woven interfacing. I'll tell you in the next video. Right now I've just bought a lot of things for a lot of different projects, so I'm just holding off on buying those extra like interfacings and fabrics that I need until next month or later this month. So all in all, I've done all that I can for this one. I've like cut the pattern pieces, I've organized the pattern pieces, and I've cut my main fabric. I have so much fabric left over, the possibilities. But I'm not gonna be sewing it yet because I don't think I have any steps that I can take without those other pieces. So anyway, that is one that like I'm working on, but I won't be working on in August, probably. So something that I probably will be working on, this is fabric that I had in my stash. It's kind of like a utility fabric. It almost feels like a upholstery fabric. Honestly, it probably is. But it has this cool print on it. I really don't have a lot. I probably have like a yard by 30 inches. I don't know. So I thought this fabric was cool. I thought it would have been like a cool jacket or shirt, but I think in reality, I'm probably gonna make a wrap skirt out of it. I made one wrap skirt in May, and I've honestly worn it like once, but I really, really, really like it. So I think I'll just make a wrap skirt out of this. Some things that I'm interested in sewing are mostly just the Skyline dress. That dress is so cute, and I want like a 3-tiered, really full, kind of billowy A-line looking, A-line just because of the tiers dress. But I don't really want to sew summery things like when there's 1.5 months of summer left in Indiana. So we'll see if I do that one. If I get like a really good idea for how I can wear that in the winter, that would be cool. But I think realistically, that's probably something I'll table until I'm getting ready to sew for the spring and summer. Lastly, some things that I do anticipate sewing in the future would be some like long sleeve layers out of like knits. So I would like just a white long sleeve t-shirt that I can layer under my mohair sweaters so that I'm not scratchy, but I don't want them to be turtlenecks. And I think I would also like a tan waffle knit shirt that is long sleeve that I can use for layering as well. So those are 2 projects that are on my horizon. We'll see what happens, and I'll check in with you next month. Thanks for watching.